Hey, welcome back to Cards and Comics, and today I'm going to show off one of my collections, and it's my Hank Aaron collection. And we'll zoom in here a little bit, and so you can see the card better. So we're going to start in 1955. So this is my 55 Bowman Hank Aaron SGC7. And one of the things about the 54 set is centering is very tough, but B, this whole set is very difficult to get. It's really dried up on the secondary market. It's been very difficult to find anything above a 7 in any of the key Hall of Famers. So you got Banks, Aaron, Mays, Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, the big time Hall of Famers. They're just not available anymore. This set is very unique as well because this set is very well known for what we call back creases. So when you flip the card over on the back, 55 Bowmans, for whatever reason, the cardstock would bubble on the back. And so back in the day when GAI was a big time grader, they actually graded a lot of 55 Bowman cards with back creases because they felt that it was really just that's how they came from the manufacturer, and therefore there were so many of them that they basically ignored the back creases. SGC and PSA doesn't do that, so there's been a lot of spooned out, crossed over GAI cards over the years. So just keep that in mind if you're buying 55 Bowmans, to look at the back, because sometimes there's back creases and they're hard to see. But the card may look beautiful on the front, but the back will definitely not be beautiful. So yeah, it's one of those things you just kind of have to look out for if you're buying this set. But this is my 55 Bowman Aaron, and really like the card. I think it's a beautiful card, and I like the color in this one. So that's my first Aaron of the day. Next up is a 55 Topps PSA 8, and I picked this up this year. Now, this card is interesting to me because I'll just go over the card first. It is a super nice card. I bought it from a dealer that I know, and so it was a good transaction. I paid exactly what it was worth at the time, and it's gone up since then. Now, how I got this card was this. I had bought those Topps Project cards, and I got in early, and I sold a lot of the earlier cards. I took the money and I bought this card and a 55 Jackie Robinson from the same dealer. And so I did turn Topps Project cards into a 55 Aaron and a 55 Jackie Robinson. Straight up, took that money and ran. And I had some returns, but being able to pick up this card along with that Jackie was just amazing. So I know a lot of people didn't like that set and had a lot of issues with it, but it did do something for me in terms of value, in terms of being able to pick a card like this up. Obviously, second year Aaron, beautiful card. Just really love it. It's been one of my favorite cards of all time, and to have an 8, I never really thought I'd get an 8 in this card, especially with the prices going up. But here it is, 55 Aaron PSA 8. Next up is a card I have had for a little while, and it's a card that I think a lot of people have as maybe their favorite Aaron. Is it my favorite Aaron? I don't know. I think it's up there. It's the reverse negative. It's not a corrected error. For people who are out there who are saying this is an error card, yeah, it's a reverse negative, but it's never been corrected. So there's only one version of this card, so it's not an error. It's very clean. It's a super nice photo of him. I mean, you get the old jersey, but yeah, I love this card. It's one of my top cards. I mean, every 50s Aaron card is a favorite card if you get down to it. But this is one of my really glad I have it. It's very expensive now. I've had it for a little while, and as you can see, it's an older graded card. So it theoretically could go for a crossover. Centering wise, it's a little off left to right. However, it does have great color and gloss. You can see the back. And, nothing really going on with the back. No wax. Okay centering. So, just a really nice card for the grade. Next up is another card I picked up this year. 59 Hank Aaron PSA 85. This came on the market. It was an eBay purchase. The dealer that was selling the card had it listed. I think it has a buy it now. And I made him a couple offers. He took one, and I got it for, under VCP prices, I believe, by a couple $100, which is amazing for a card this nice. You can see the back, how nice the back is. So yeah, for a card, a 50s Aaron and an 8.5, it's pretty special. I don't have a lot of cards like this in these kind of grades. And, it's just a super clean card, super bright white borders, very packed fresh, a lot of gloss. And the guy who I got it from, it was one of his, favorite cards as well. And he was kind of sad to see it go, but I think the deal worked out for both of us. Now here is probably my favorite 60s Aaron. I think between this and the 62 is my two favorite Aarons. I just love the color on this card, and this card is super clean. 60s can have print, especially in the yellow area on the left-hand side. This card is very well centered, a lot of color. I picked this up last year, so this is one of my big 2019 purchases. I guess now it's 2021, so it's 2 years now, I guess, but it was a 2019 purchase, so love that card. Again, and then I'll show you the back, sorry. Again, one of my favorite cards. I think anyone who buys, vintage cards, this is one of those cards. And I would just say this card does not come up for sale as much as it used to, especially in this grade, and especially when this clean. They're kind of held reserved now for the big time auction. So now here's a card I picked up 2 years ago at when the last national. I put the whole set together, and so this was a card at the show. I saw it. I made the dealer a good offer. I got it right at VCP, I believe. And this card has just gone up incredibly in price. It's hard for me to believe it's this expensive anymore right now. I think this card when I first got it was in the $400 to $500 range. Back's a little off, but still pretty clean. I'm not a huge back guy, but if it's real ugly as far as toned or miscut, I've seen some straight cards with a miscut back, and it just kind of bugs me. But yeah, this card's really clean, and it's gone up quite a bit in value to where I'm really glad I got it when I did, because I don't know if I could afford picking this thing up nowadays for current prices. Now the next card is my first 8.5, and if you've tuned into my channel or seen some of my other videos, I'm in love with the 8.5 grade, and so here's my first Aaron in an 8.5. Yeah, and so it is super clean. Give you an idea of kind of how nice this card is. Yeah, I don't know how much better you can make a card like this. Then you flip it over in the back. It's not the brightest 64 back, but it's definitely clean, and it definitely doesn't have any rub down here in this area where the magic coin area. But in terms of how nice and clean this card is, it's way up there in my list of nice cards. 64s are not the hardest cards to grade, and finding clean 8.5s is not the hardest. But Aaron, this card is getting more expensive, and it was probably my first Aaron 8.5 in the 60s, so I'm very happy I got that one. Next up is probably one of the easiest Aarons to find. So this card is started to really take off now, but it's kind of just with all the other vintage cards. But 8.5 is tough. This card is really tough centered. And a lot of time in that green area, you'll get some blue print dots. Back-wise, it's pretty good. It's not the bluest of blue, but it's definitely a clean back. And I really do like the centering on the front. And again, it's an 8.5. Again, I love 8.5, so this is definitely a really clean Aaron. And a lot of people like this card. It's one of their favorite Aarons, and I think it comes up for sale quite a bit compared to some other 60 Aarons, and so you'll see quite a bit of movement and sells on this card. So it does sell quite often, not in the 8.5 grade, but in just the regular 8 and lower grade. So now here's my 66 Aaron, and so yeah, this card is in the top 3 for me. I think, between the 60 and 62. This is probably my third favorite 60 Aaron. I just like that purple, or I don't know, color you call that. Nice photo. It's just when it's well centered, 66s are one of those cards for me that years it really does it for me. Older graded card, you can tell by the flip and where the 8 is here. I've said before, that one line grade shows it's an older graded card. You flip it over on the back. It's a pretty good back. Pretty well. You can see the color, and just it's pretty glossy, and doesn't show a lot of wear in terms of tone. And just really well centered. And this card just really pops. It's got a lot of gloss, so you can see how glossy that card is and how it pops off the screen. Not an 85, but it's a super nice 8. Next up is a 68. And yeah, you notice I don't have, like a 67, or, when I pop through these years, I'm still collecting Aaron and Maze and Mantle, and so I don't have every year. And obviously, if I get a 67, I'll probably try to get an 8.5, just because, I think I can, afford that grade, and that card, it's a nice, card to get an 8.5. 68 is challenging as a card, just because 68s are harder to grade than you think. That burlap border hides a lot of dings, and so getting these anything above an 8's harder than you think. It's a nice card. 68s are hit or miss for me. I like the Aaron and the Clemente and a few cards in the 68 set, but it's definitely not my favorite year. A lot of people love 68s. To me, they're just a nice, nice, not my favorite. Next up is my 69, and I'll start out with the OPC. If you saw my 60s Hall of Famer video, this was in my 60s box. So a lot of my Aarons are pulled out and put into display. This one was not, and so this is my 69 OPC Aaron, and you can see the really hot pink back. And then when you see the other Aaron, you'll see that the back is different. It's a 7.5, but it's good enough for me. These are hard to find, just because all OPCs are harder to find than their Topps counterpart. Next up is the Topps. And this card has some tremendous gloss and color to it. It's very well focused. It's a little off top to bottom, but then you can see the milder pink back. And I'll just throw out the other one to see, so you guys can see the difference in backs between the OPC and the Topps. So very easy to tell the difference there. There's other markers on OPC, in terms of where it's printed, it's like printed in the USA versus printed in Canada on this one. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to tell OPC from Topps. Should never get fooled on that. Next up is, I don't have a lot of 70s Aarons, but what I do have is the 74 OPC. Now this is the special, so the set in 74 started out with Hank Aaron, and then a retrospective of every card. So this shows the 62 and 63. Now this is an OPC, and for people who don't collect a lot of OPC, 74 is the toughest year to find OPC. It's by far the hardest year. because the cardstock is really poor. They chip really easily. So almost every 74 OPC card is a short print in terms of just anything above from 7 and above. And you can see the back. You can see the dual French and English back. And then when you see a regular back, it's a little different color. So the regular Topps backs were green. There you go. And the peachy were yellow. So again, very easy to tell them apart. Next up, I have 2 of these. So it's a 74 Topps. So the first card in the set was the Home Run King. And I graded this card. It was a crossover from SGC. And there you go, a PSA 8. And it's a very nice card. And again, I graded it from a crossover. I think it was an 86 or an 84. So it was a really nice upgrade for me. And then next up is the same card in an 8.5. And like I said, I love the 8.5 grade, and I just love this card. And yeah, I just think this card is super undervalued. I think it's just iconic from the 70s. It looks like a 70s card. I mean, it just looks like what you would want a 70s card to look like. Next up is my 75 OPC 8 Aaron, and I don't have the Topps. And so, yeah, my 70 Aaron collecting should definitely improve. I think that's a goal for my 2021 is to get some more 70 Aarons. But this is a 75 OPC, and it's got, you know, a wider stock type back, you know, a little brighter back. So you'll see the Topps is a little more gray. But yeah, and this is just really nicely centered. This card just pops. The different cardstock made the 75 OPCs much brighter, I think, in color than the Topps. And this card is again very rare because the OPCs are tough. Next up is Aaron's last card, and here it is, 76. I actually just purchased a 7 in this card just because I like to have multiples. This is probably my favorite card. When I was a kid, my first high-end card I ever bought was a 76 Aaron. It was a super well-centered, just amazing card. And obviously back when I was a kid in 88, 89 time period, that card was probably a $20, $25 card. However, it was so nice. You know, I had every dealer want to buy it off me. And I think, you know, now I know why, because it's just a beautiful card. You know, and grading had just really, hadn't really started yet. So I wish I still had kept it, because I think that, you know, based on what I remember, that card was really nice. But I replaced it with this card. I've never had a 9 in this card, but this is the highest I've had. So it's an 8.5. It's really well centered, super great color. Last card. And yeah, that's my Hank Aaron collection. Hope you enjoy. And I'll see you next time. Bye.